If you're on the fence about doing the KLR650 Doohickey upgrade, watch this video because I almost just got boned right in the ass. Alright guys, so it's a beautiful night. It was raining all weekend long and finally we got a break in the weather. And I just got out of work, so I got a good 4 or 5 hours to work on my bike. I want to get the KLR running and getting ready for all the adventure rides that I want to do on it. Unfortunately, the guy before me, he took good care of it. He, kept it in the garage and he kept the fluids changed, but I don't think he ever did any big preventive maintenance stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do tonight is the Eagle Mic Doohickey upgrade. This cam tensioner thing, if you know anything about KLRs, it's like the first thing you see when you do any research. You got to change this out, otherwise it explodes and little metal bits get jammed up in the cam gears and the chains and everything. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to change out the oil. I got some Kawasaki 10W40. So this will be roughly a 4-hour job. I've never done this before. All I've seen is a bunch of YouTube videos, but it looks pretty straightforward, so we're going to get going on. First things first, I'm going to drain the old oil because I know that's got to change regardless. High flow. Alright, so the oil's drained. I'm just going to seal everything up. I bought a new low profile TUSK drain plug. So I'll throw this in. This is supposed to be much better because it won't get clipped by any rocks, especially if you're using an aftermarket skid plate. It uses a 6mm hex. Let me try and show you how low pro that is. If something hits a skid plate, it's not going to catch because it's just so low to the base. Alright, so I'm going to start disassembling the engine so I can get at the doohickey. You have to remove the shift lever as well as the side plate and the front sprocket cover and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll just do a step-by-step. I'm in no rush. I don't want to lose anything. Got to remove this protector here. And this just kind of rides off. This is plastic. Now these are going to have to come out, these wires. That's it. They don't have to go anywhere else. Now we got to remove all these. Now I'm going to make sure I mark all these bolts around here. I don't want to take them out if I don't need to. I don't want to lose which ones they are. I forgot you have to remove the skid plate. You have to do that to access all the side bolts. So I'll probably start off by doing that first. I'm using a cardboard box with holes to mark which comes out where. Be careful, oil will leak out when you're taking off this cover. Just gently working this off. Point of no return now. Okay, we gotta take out these gears here. So I'll take this one out. There's a washer on the inside and a washer on the outside. Don't lose those. Washer, don't lose them. So I got the flywheel wrench. It's going to grab onto this bar right here, nice and flush. I'm using my highway pegs to keep it from flipping around, and now I'm going to impact this off. I'm going to see if this guy will do it. 19mm. There it goes. Now I will replace this, but I'll keep it just because. Now we take our puller and we thread it in. So that means this is probably going to have to put this on the other side since we're going to be tightening this up. There it goes. And that comes right off. Okay, 2 washers and the 1 washer here. We want to make sure we keep those in order. So 1 in the front, 2 stacked in the back, 2 spacers. So this is the doohickey here that we're replacing. I just have to remove this pin and that'll come off. Save this. So just like everybody was saying, that these doohickeys, I guess, have lots of loose play in them. Where you can see this one, it definitely moves a lot. So that spring right there where I'm pointing to, that came right off, and that's because there was no tension, so it wasn't even doing anything. That means I gotta take this whole outer plate to get to that spring, and I gotta drill a hole here for the new tensioner spring. This one right up here is supposedly either longer or shorter. It's different from the rest. But same deal, mark your bolts, don't just take them out. So when you take this off, I learned you gotta keep tension on this pin because you don't want everything to fall inside. It's a bad day if you do that. So keep all the shafts pointed in. I'm buying new gaskets, so these gaskets are old and garbage. So I'm glad I trusted my gut and did this change sooner rather than later. The tensioner spring is broken. It wasn't making any connection, that way it wasn't creating any tension on the tensioner itself. So I'm just really happy that I trusted my gut and did it right the first time. We can now reapply this. We don't have to worry about the spring because we're using the tensioner spring. Gotta throw the new gasket in. Gasket goes on like this. This is the 1 bolt that goes up here. And I torque these. Should be good. This is a much better metal, but much better tolerance. It just feels so much weaker than this. We line up this, the bottom of the pin, put it in there. There we go. Now this is why it's a bitch. Because I gotta have this way the hell in there. Now I gotta get this hook around here. This is why it's a pain in the ass. Well, that wasn't that bad. I'm going to loosen this up just a little bit, and just to make sure it's working properly. It's working. It's giving plenty of tension on this. Just to make sure that this spring is down all the way. And tight. Nice. Alright, now we can reassemble the flywheel assembly. You got your 2 spacers. And you have your washer. Just spins, that spins nice and freely, no play. I purchased a new bolt. Gotta torque that down still. Take our flywheel holder. It's gonna brace up against this side. There we go, torque down. Our top gear in. Don't forget the washers. Last bolt. Plug in this sensor here and run the wires where they are supposed to go. There they go. Just plastic, don't have to torque the shit out of it. Alright, our shift lever. Let me see if I want it here just to check my footing. Yeah, that's probably pretty good right there. Alright, so the doohickey is installed. I'm going to throw some fresh oil in it, get the bike running, take her for a few laps, make sure everything's okay. Should be right around 2.5 to 2.9 quarts. That might be full, but with the oil filter being empty, it's going to take some in there and fill that up. More oil. Looks pretty good there. Take it for another spin. Alright guys, so the doohickey is installed. It really wasn't that bad of a job because of all the YouTube help and tutorials. This made it so easy for me to do it because honestly thousands of people have done it before me, and there's so many YouTube videos out there. So mine is just another one you can use for reference. Regardless, I'm so happy I did this right out of the gate because even for a 2007 with 5,000 miles, we learned a hell of a lesson that the tensioner spring right there was broken. So the factory doohickey had no tension on it. If I needed to do any adjustments, I don't know where it was gonna go. It was just gonna sit there and it was gonna do nothing. So this was a really, really important upgrade that I did at the right time because it hasn't created any damage to the engine. So if you have a Gen 1 or maybe even a Gen 2 KLR, go do this. Rent the tools. I paid, I think it's like 29 bucks for the holder and like 17 bucks for the puller, but you get that money back as soon as you return them. So you don't have to pay for that. I put in all new gaskets, 18 bucks a piece. If you want to reuse your other ones and put some RTV around it, there you go. You save another 30, 40 bucks. So you can do this upgrade for around 50 bucks and you'll be done. Otherwise, the bike has a fresh oil change, my levels are all good, fresh oil filter, so it's ready for the rest of the year. I have one more upgrade coming up this week because I already did the handlebars and the doohickey, but I got crash bars coming in. Crash bars, because everybody says that these bikes, you're gonna shred up these fairings and whatnot. So I bought them off Dirt Tracks. I think it was 140 bucks or something like that. They're unpainted, so I'm gonna powder coat them. I think I'm gonna try and match the yellow to the side, just to contrast. One other thing I really, really wanna do, or I wanna get, but I'm on the fence, is panniers or saddlebags. I really want to get some kind of storage because I'd like to start doing some long rides on this. Now I know the TUSK panniers by like Everride and all those guys, they swear by them and they beat the piss out of them and they just keep going. So I guess for the money it's worth it. But 400 bucks right now, that's a lot of house money I could be putting into. So we'll see, we'll see. I'm sure I'll get them at one point, but probably not soon. Regardless, I'm gonna start enjoying this bike. It's ready to go. One last thing. Get that doohickey. You don't want to get